Imagine driving across a continent and crossing country after country without ever stopping at a border. No passport checks, no long lines, no guards inspecting your trunk, just a simple road trip from Portugal's Atlantic coast to Poland's eastern frontier. Today, that's the reality for over 400 million Europeans thanks to something called the Schengen Agreement. Just 40 years ago, this same journey would have meant hours of border checks, passport stamps, and questioning by armed guards. But here's what nobody tells you about Schengen. It almost failed before it even started. The story begins not in some grand European palace, but on a riverboat stuck in the middle of the Moselle River because of a labor strike. France, Germany, Belgium, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg, neighbors tired of the post-World War II divisions, decided enough was enough. They envisioned a Europe where people could move as freely as ideas. The initial pact focused on abolishing border controls for vehicles, but it quickly evolved. By 1990, the Schengen Convention fleshed out the details: harmonized visas, police cooperation, and a shared database for security. Implementation kicked off in 1995 with 7 countries, and the area has ballooned since, now covering most of the EU plus Iceland, Norway, Switzerland, and Liechtenstein. Picture this: a truck driver in 1994 hauling goods from Italy to Sweden, stopping at every border for inspections that could drag on for days, risking spoiled cargo and lost profits. Fast forward to today, that same driver zips through without a hitch, saving time and money that fuels Europe's economic engine. When 2 countries join the Schengen Area, their bilateral trade increases by 0.09% every year. That might sound small, but compounded over decades across 29 countries, and you're talking about trillions of euros in additional economic activity. Studies show that Schengen membership is equivalent to removing a 0.7% tariff at each border. For goods crossing multiple borders, these savings multiply dramatically. Consider this: 2.8 trillion euro worth of goods cross Schengen borders annually through 57 million road crossings. Without Schengen, economists estimate that this trade would be 10% to 20% lower, equivalent to imposing a shadow tax of 3% on all cross-border commerce. That's not just numbers on a spreadsheet, that's jobs, innovation, and prosperity that simply wouldn't exist without free movement. Consider the automotive industry. Volkswagen parts manufactured in Slovakia can be assembled in Germany and shipped to Spain overnight without tariffs or delays. This just-in-time logistics has slashed costs by up to 20%, making European companies more competitive globally. But let's zoom in on a real example. In the early 2000s, as Eastern European countries like Poland joined Schengen in 2007, Polish workers flooded into the UK and Ireland. One such migrant, Tomasz, a skilled plumber from Warsaw, found work in London paying triple his home salary. He sent remittances back, lifting his family's living standards and boosting Poland's economy. By 2019, remittances from Schengen mobility reached over 100 billion euros across Europe, funding schools, hospitals, and businesses in sender countries. Another example is Maria, a young student from Portugal. In the pre-Schengen era, studying abroad meant navigating a bureaucratic nightmare. Visas for each country, limited stays, and the constant fear of overstepping. Now, with her Schengen visa, she attends university in Berlin, spends weekends in Prague, and interns in Vienna, all without reapplying for permissions. This freedom has supercharged education companies like Erasmus+, where over 10 million students have crossed borders since 1987, fostering a generation of multilingual, culturally savvy Europeans. Tourism exploded too. Pre-Schengen, a backpacker plotting a Euro trip faced a gauntlet of visas and border waits that could eat half their vacation. Now, with one Schengen visa covering 27 nations, visitors from outside Europe, like Americans or Asians, can island hop from Malta to Iceland effortlessly. For all its successes, Schengen has faced existential challenges that have tested its fundamental principles. The 2015 migration crisis marked a turning point that still reverberates today. When 1.3 million asylum seekers arrived in Europe in 2015, the most since World War II, the Schengen system buckled under pressure. The crisis exposed fundamental weaknesses in the system's design. External border controls, which were supposed to protect the borderless interior, proved inadequate for the scale of the challenge. The 2015 Paris attacks exposed the dark side of open borders. The attackers moved freely between Belgium and France, exploiting the very freedom Schengen provided. Hungary built a fence. Austria deployed soldiers to its borders. Germany, Schengen's biggest champion, suspended free movement. The images of new walls rising across Europe shocked a generation that had never known borders. Sweden, long a symbol of openness, introduced controls on the bridge to Denmark, ending 60 years of passport-free Nordic travel. The bridge, an engineering marvel connecting two countries, became a checkpoint. Commuters who had made the journey for decades suddenly needed passports for their daily work. While politicians debate Schengen's future, a hidden army keeps it functioning. Meet the people you never see, but who make your border-free travel possible. A Frontex headquarters in Warsaw, analysts monitor 44,000 kilometers of external borders in real time. They track everything from migrant boats in the Mediterranean to drug smugglers in the Balkans. Their screens show a Europe most never see, heat signatures of people moving through forests, vessels approaching Greek islands, and trucks queuing at external borders. The most surreal job might belong to the border inspectors who patrol borders that no longer officially exist. They operate in a legal gray zone, checking vehicles 20 kilometers inside national territory, using behavioral analysis and intelligence rather than systemic attacks. They're hunting for criminals who exploit Schengen while trying not to undermine the very freedom they're protecting. But let's not gloss over inequalities. Wealthier nations benefit more from labor inflows, while Eastern ones face brain drain. Romania, joining in 2023 after years of delays, saw skilled youth head to the Netherlands for better pay. His hometown suffers from talent shortages, slowing development. Efforts like EU funds aim to balance this, investing in infrastructure to lure back expatriates. As Schengen marks its 40th anniversary, it's undergoing its most significant transformation since its creation. The introduction of digital border management systems is creating what officials call Schengen 4.0, a technologically advanced version of borderless travel. The technology is impressive. Travelers will register fingerprints and facial biometrics that will be stored in a secure database. Future border crossings will be automated, using AI and machine learning to identify individuals and cross-reference them against security databases. The system promises to reduce waiting times while dramatically improving security. These technologies raise important questions about privacy and human rights. Digital borders are mobile borders that can follow individuals wherever they go. The challenge for Schengen's future is harnessing these powerful technologies while preserving the values of human dignity and privacy that European integration is supposed to protect. Schengen changed Europe in ways its creators never imagined. It didn't just remove borders, it changed how Europeans see themselves, work, love, and dream. It created a continent where distance is measured in hours, not checkpoints, where opportunity isn't determined by which side of an invisible line you were born on. The next time you cross a European border without stopping, remember, you're experiencing something unprecedented in human history. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe.